get started? Enough said.
Right. All right.
All right, welcome, T.D.T fam. How y'all doing tonight?
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Look, I am broadcasting live from the Sigma Conclave in Myrtle Beach. So yes, I am out in these streets on location.
Definitely on location. Definitely.
Exactly. So Carl, ooh, can we see who we got in the room? Hey y'all.
Yes. Hey, Ava, Melissa. Hello, hello.
Hey
Welcome,
y'all.
y'all. Yes.
All
We
right,
about to
so
have a good show.
we got an exciting topic tonight.
Yes, we do.
So
Thank you, Ava.
before we get started, see I can't see the comments. Let me remove. There we go. There we go. Uh, so welcome to TDT Talk, where we tell you,
The damn truth.
hey,
Yeah.
we're here again another Friday night. Um, this topic tonight, I'm extremely excited about. Before we get started, I don't think we're going to be sharing any clips or anything like that, but we always want to give our disclaimer. Anything that we talk about can potentially be triggering. So if you feel like you need to speak to someone a little more about something personal that you're going through, please make sure you reach out to us. We have Miss Naisha Diggs, who is our resident therapist. And you guys met her last week. If you didn't, go back and check out the video. She is awesome and amazing. But we will definitely connect you to her. All right.
Yeah.
All right, co-host, we ready?
I'm ready. Hey, Lisa, Ava, Melissa. Just wanted to say hello to anybody else. If you're watching, go ahead, tell us hello. Tell us where you're hailing from. Tonight's topic is going to be very interesting. As many of you guys have seen, the title of today's discussion is "You Can't Raise a Man. Stop Trying to Fix Him."
Here
That's
we
just
here we go. Look, y'all. So
there it is.
I went back to Candy Lee Nails and got my nails done again. She did an amazing job, like she always does. But we had a whole conversation about this. Okay, so I can't wait to get into it.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm about to jump on. Today, we are definitely talking um, about men. Uh, and ladies, some of your shortcomings, when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to the selection process of your men, and who you choose to sleep with or be in a relationship with or
Here we go.
situationship
Here we
provided by
go.
Jada Pickett, situation.
No.
Um,
What did she have? She had an entanglement.
entanglements, a situational.
Entanglements.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, or an entanglement. Um, So, as we're all aware, the drug epidemic sent a disproportionate number of our Black men to prison and crushed the job opportunities for those who successfully served their time. Women don't want to marry men who provide for their families, and welfare laws have created financial incentives for poor mothers to stay single.
Hmm.
To
Now look,
stay
I'm
single.
trying to get my camera right on this. I
That's
mean, you make a
mm,
good point. You make a good point, though. I mean, when we think about the crack epidemic, and y'all know I can go all day on the crack epidemic. I mean, we came up a little bit in the 60s, right? The whole civil rights era, the whole we shall overcome, right? We were
yeah.
all together on that. Um, and then the 70s, here come the drugs, right? So the Vietnam era, our men started coming back hooked on heroin, right?
Mhm.
And then we get into the 70s, the free love and the drug, and then the 80s hit, and then crack was dumped into the low income areas strategically and intentionally.
Mhm.
Um, so we weren't dying fast enough for them. They had to expedite the mission. And
Very much so.
then our men and our women, moms and dads, left children alone. So homes were broken, right?
Mhm.
Specifically speaking about the men tonight, this is where we have our fatherless homes. I strongly believe that the crack epidemic is where we have not recovered from it. We've
No.
recovered from other setbacks, but we have not recovered from the crack epidemic. You lost a father in the home in the 80s. You had the
Hmm.
child raising themselves in the 90s. That child didn't have didn't marry or didn't make good choices when it comes to the men she chose. So
Hmm.
you have like two more generations. We 2021 now, but we three more generations where the fathers are not in the home. So
Very
all
much so.
all stemming from drugs, crack.
And it's, it's very disheartening to know that even currently, and a lot of people may not be aware of this, but there's a lot of stipulations that have been put into place for such businesses as TANF when it comes to you getting and receiving EBT, and even down to Medicaid and Medicare. Like, y'all, if you are single and on the struggle bus, you will get assistance. But when you are in a dual parent home, not so much.
And that isn't necessarily true either. If you are single, you have to be poorer than poor.
True.
You have to be single and not working. You have to be single and not want to actually pull yourself up
And let's talk about that, Sharon,
get
because
assistance.
and let's talk about that, Sharon. So, like we just discussed, there's certain policies and procedures that have been put into place to keep us down.
Yes.
And it's almost like you're promoting for us to be jobless and to be welfare babies. Because let's be honest, the 90s produced the crack epidemic that tore Black communities and families down, but it also created welfare babies.
Mm-hmm.
So if I know that I don't have to work a 9 to 5, and you can get me in a home that looks better than someone like me and you who work well over 40 hours a week, who went to school in Old Sally, made enough money to make it rain in several clubs out here in these streets. Um, it's what's the point? If I know you're going to take care of me and all I got to do is keep having children and don't work, y'all, they be getting cell phones, they get and that what was it, the Obama phone? You got a certain amount of minutes, but then it cut off till next month. But
Uh-huh.
you had an Obama phone, you get four, five, six, $700 on an EBT. Then your house is a 2-story, 4 or 5 bedroom home. Because again, with policies, if a son or daughter is over the age of 13, I want to say 12 or 13, they have to be in a room by themselves. So if you got 4 kids and 2 of them are older, they're going to accommodate for the most part to ensure that the kids have their individual rooms. So it's just, wow. It's a generational cycle that the government is still that puppeteering is all right. We'll give you a little bit of this. Just make sure you don't do that. And then if they find out that the father is back in the home, they cease all services.
Can we go there for a second? Can we go there for a second? Because these services, I guess I'll call them, are offered
Mhm.
to the women, right?
Yep.
So you can actually be a female with no job and you can get Section 8, no problem. But if you are a single mom with twins, you cannot get Section 8 if you have a job, even if you have a job making minimum wage plus tips. Okay. It's that ridiculous. But
Hmm.
the men, they can't get anything, right? So then the women, we have to sneak them in, right? So now you're living with me in my
Hmm.
Section 8, housing,
Hmm.
sneaking, not on the lease. You're living with me. So here, you don't have your own space. You don't have your own place. You're
Yep.
sitting here milking the system as well, off of me.
Yep.
But so let's keep going.
And it's funny because those women that men choose to get with, they real quick to be like, don't make me call the police. You ain't about to mess up my Section 8. And I'm like,
But look,
that's your comeback.
But look, after you let him stay there for 30 days, he's a resident. He lives there.
A whole residence.
And you
Yep.
can't kick him out no way.
Period.
And he knows it. So that's why he's holding up your couch. And this is the guy that we're talking about tonight, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
look, Sharon. Hey, Vanessa. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Um, so there are specific phrases that are commonly thrown around within the Black community. So the culture, one-sided mentally, it's very one-sided about who can best raise a black boys, can affect Black mothers and sons' self-esteem. So I'm gonna rephrase that one more time. Y'all know, let's keep it 100. Y'all know that it's commonly said that a mother cannot raise a boy into a man. It's not physically possible. So, with that being said, Sharon, do you think that that does negatively impact the boy that we're talking about, along with the mother?
Yeah, I mean, I do. Um, I mean, as a single mom raising a boy, it is difficult and challenging.
Hmm.
And I mean, you got to do it a very specific way that I think a lot of women are just not equipped for. If I did not have the male influences in my life, I wouldn't be equipped for it either.
Hmm.
So we have these women who are I'm just be honest because this is what we do on T.D.T.
Tell
They're
the truth.
they're ruining these boys.
Ooh,
They're half raising them, right?
yes, Lord.
And they are allowing them to grow up with no responsibilities, taking no accountability for anything that they do. They're teaching them a low income lifestyle, right? They're teaching them a slave mindset, and they have no goals to reach for, nothing
Hmm.
to look forward to in life. And this is perpetuated over and over and over and over again. So this is how we get that ain't ish dude, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Who, who's just out here acting like a boy when he's 40 years old. He should be a man, but his mama did not do a good job raising him. She
So
gave
I want
him
to
nothing to work with.
I want to pause you here, Sharon, because you said something that festered into my soul, and we talked about this is why we came up with this series. So let's go a little deeper, okay? Because on TDT we tell you nothing but the truth, the motherfucking truth. So help us God. That's what we do. And then I'm gonna get to some of these questions real quick. So the one thing that I've noticed as a Black man, I was raised by a single mother for a long period of time until she met my stepfather. And then it was that testosterone fueled, that's my mommy, that's my woman. I wish you would. I was here first. I'm going to be here when you gone, blah, blah, blah. So
Hmm.
we've seen in recent, I don't know how many of y'all watch Love and Hip Hop,
Oh my
but
God.
they're Love and Hip Hop, and I think this one was Love and Hip Hop Hollywood when it had Omarion on it. And in the video, Omarion is at his baby shower with April, and um, Omarion's mom begins to become very disrespectful, like extremely disrespectful to April, telling her she's not going to be a good mother, she's unfit, this, that, the third. And instead of Omarion stepping up and telling his mom, like, hey, mom, you need to chill. That's not called for. This is not the time or place. This is supposed to be a special moment. He tells April to get her pregnant self up and walk away. So I want to pause right there.
Hmm.
In the Black world, let's be honest, there are more single mothers than there are dual parent homes within the Black community.
That
As we
is
just
true.
discussed, there is a lot of policies that are in place that promote a single income, if we can even say a single income, but a single parent home.
Hmm.
These mothers are raising their children in a perverse mindset. And by that, I mean, you're raising your 9-year-old son and enforcing that he is now the man of the household. I want to know where in the hell a 9-year-old can file a W 2, first of all. You can't be the head of nothing. You're not even the head of your thought process, let alone the head of the household. But they're giving them these identifiers within their role within the family. I'm the man of the house. I have to make sure that I provide for my mom. And let's be honest, most of these boys are hustling, they're stealing, they're doing little things to try to provide when in fact they did not ask to be here.
Yes.
You was hot in the pants. And rather than getting an abortion, having a pregnancy, prevention method, be it condoms, be it birth control, be it
Hmm.
IEDs, whatever all the things the females got. I just know about condoms and a vasectomy, of which I don't do either, because that's why I got married. I don't have to. So,
TMI.
so, um, they're raising these men, these young boys to be men, but they're having a perverse and warped concept where the mothers are raising these boys to take care of them when they're older, not to take care of their partner, their girlfriend, their wife, fiance. Women are not equipping their boys to be a good man for the next one.
I completely agree with that. Um, and then we have, speaking of, allowing or making our sons feel like they're the head of the house or giving them that role. What about the mom who knows that her son is selling drugs because she's depending on him to pay the mortgage or the rent every
Hmm.
month? She's looking for him to get that bag for her or whatever it is that she wants. She's feeling like the queen pin, right?
Yes.
Because her son is the big guy on the block. I mean, I would never sell my child for $1. I mean, that's crazy and ridiculous to think, but it happens far too often.
More often than not. So
And
let's get this.
and
Oh,
and in our community, it is celebrated. It is
man.
it is celebrated. It's like that's a good thing. We don't celebrate somebody going off to college, right? No, we want to celebrate. Oh, my son, he the baddest on the block or whatever, whatever. That's
Hmm.
what we want to celebrate. We need to do better.
We need to. So Naisha said the women also has to file child support on the father to qualify for Medicaid and or work first, a system
Mm-hmm.
created to keep families apart. And Naisha, I love that you say that because it's this. We know in the Black community, one of the common golden rules in the Black community is thou shall not snitch. It's embedded in us. We will not snitch. However, the system is like snitch on your baby daddy and we'll cover your medical. And then
Exactly.
it fosters animosity rather than the father and the mother sitting down and coming together on a way to support this child or children. It then becomes you're attacking me. Now I have a problem, and now I'm about to come for your helmet because it's just natural. You could have came and warned me instead of taking papers out on me. Now that fosters animosity, and if it was a drift before, it's a big rift at this point. Um, Let me see. We have who was that said that? Lisa. Lisa said, "So how do you go about educating and breaking the cycle that keeps happening?" I think that was Lisa. Was that Lisa?
Look, that's the same question we had for each other the other night. What do we
Literally.
do? How do we stop this? And I think we have to stop it, but there has to be some type of mentoring or something. We have to find a way to get to the kids. We got to start by helping to shape their mindset. I don't want to say change, but I want to say shape their mindset in a more positive way, so that they are focused on being able to achieve something better than what they currently have. But if you have
Exactly.
kids that have nothing to look forward to, they don't have any goals, they don't see anybody that look like them that's doing anything better, they've never even been outside of their neighborhood. I live
Mhm.
in a city where there's two beaches. I know I have kids that have never been to the beach in their lives. How you been in the city for 13 years and you've never been to one of the two beaches, and they're
Mhm.
only 15 minutes each way? But this
Mhm.
is what we have, and we have generations of this repeating itself. So we have to find a way to get to sorry, y'all, we have to find a way to get to the youth, so
Yes.
that we can provide more mentorship and show them that there is something more than this hood fairy tale you're being sold.
Yes. So with that, I want to just add to that as well. Oftentimes we don't have the opportunity where we have someone of sustenance that can feed to the children. There's not that they don't have that. My neighbor is a drug addict. My neighbor to the left of me is a crack addict. The people above me sell dope. The people below me sell weed. So you're surrounded in an environment that is very suffocating. And I feel like, to answer that question, we need people with a genuine heart to show the kids something different. When it comes to minorities or just races altogether, the Black race is very disproportionate as far as resources, as far as someone actually caring with a genuine heart about change. It's a stereotype. Your child, especially a Black boy, they're cute until they're not. They go from being, oh my God, he has the biggest cheeks and the cutest little dimples. And as soon as he hits 5 or 6 and he shows just an inkling of defiance, uh, just a minute sprinkle of an attitude, he went from being cute to being a threat.
Absolutely aggressive, right? Aggressive and defiant are the labels
Yes.
that they're given. And then they're taken from traditional schools to these alternative schools where they're treated like young criminals.
Yep. Love that.
Mhm.
Ava said it is challenging but not impossible. Yes, you need wonderful, positive male role models, but it also takes a strong Black mother who has to have goals herself. And I think, Ava, that is perfect because when you're a mother, scratch that. If you're a parent, I don't care if you're an adoptive parent, a foster parent, a parent by relationship status, whatever the case is, you see the need. My mom sought for me to get into the Boys and Girls Club. My mom sought for me to get a mentor. My mom sought for my uncle, who's doing really well for himself back then and now. And if y'all missed him, he was on 2 episodes ago. Sharon? He was 2 episodes ago, right? Yeah, two. Okay.
Yeah, it was too.
2 episodes ago, and he was someone that was able to mentor me. So we can't just use the excuse of, oh, well, there's no one there. Especially with COVID, it has created opportunities everywhere. You can get online, type it in, and it's gonna show you a whole laundry list of whatever services you need.
You can find virtual anything virtually now.
Yes, that part. Um, and then the next one came from Jill. She said, yes, some mamas messing up their son's mental totally. Geesh. And it's sad. You're not even raising them to be a man. Hence why we came up with this topic, because K. Michelle said it perfectly. He was not raised right before you. So what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Exactly. Exactly. Hey Jill, hey Sarah, cuz I am in Myrtle Beach at the Conclave. So I just wanted to give her a shout out.
Yes, yes. Ava said generational cycles of a closed mind, poverty mentality. And that's going off of that series that we came up, When Woke with a Shackled Mind. We talked a lot about generational trauma, generational curses, those cycles that nobody is seeming to break or maybe are unaware of or complacent with. What you think, Sharon?
Carl, I ain't gonna lie. I got so distracted just now.
Go to
I'm,
timeout.
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna need you to repeat the question.
I forgot what I said. I need you. I need you to be here, man. I need you to be here.
Look, y'all, look. I'm sorry. Go repeat the question. I got you. I got you.
Girl, I forgot what I asked you. It was reading off of the cycles of the. So as you guys can see, this is not scripted. This is live in full effect, and apparently there must have been some form of chocolate eye candy that moseyed along, and Sharon had a brief lapse that she was on T.D.T. But tomato, tomato. I'm here for it.
Look,
Uh,
it's all good. It's all good.
Let me go to Naisha. She said that mindset can be contributed to trauma. It is survival. However, failures in the system contribute to promoting that mindset. Definitely agree. Go ahead, Sharon. Elaborate on that one.
Look, it is survival, and I understand that, and I get it. But at what point do we stop trying to survive and actually overcome? We got to
Hmm.
get out of this cycle, or we will be in survival mode all the time. So the fight, flight, or freeze, right? That's our survival mechanism. When are
Hmm.
we going to come out of this trauma mindset and get stable enough to where we can finally overcome?
Definitely agree.
Now, failures in the system, I completely agree.
Hmm.
There are many, but we as a community, these failures in the system are going to be there. They were strategically put there for us to fail. So we can't keep using that as an excuse either. We have to find ways to do better. I
Hmm.
believe there that the generations before us like stopped everything at Martin Luther King. Like they had that one. He was that one. And when he was murdered, I mean, there was nothing that stepped up after that. So
Yeah,
we have what that was in the 60s. I mean, how many years, oh my God, has passed and nothing has been done to push us forward. So that's what's missing.
I definitely agree. So, why do we, excuse me, not we, ladies, why do you try to fix a man? So, Sharon,
Tag, can I
broken
get this?
seeks broken. Tag,
Uh,
you're it.
oh, you know what? Please, Carl, I want you to speak on the broken first.
You want me to
Go
speak on
go,
it first?
let us have it.
Okay. So, you guys know, um, there are people that are sent in this world naturally to steal your joy. Naturally. My mom has coined a phrase called emotional leeches. There are people that are emotional leeches that will attach to you and drain you of your mental capacity, your love, anything that you can give, they are going to take it until you're empty. So the statement broken seeks broken. If a young lady comes from a broken home in which she was physically abused, verbally abused, sexually abused, any type of trauma, they tend to have low self esteem. And they're going to seek out someone who showed them just the slightest interest. But in that slightest interest has now been a man child who was raised by a single mother who perpetuated that cycle of you're going to take care of mommy before you take care of anyone else. I'm your first priority over your children, over your wife, whatever the case is. You are going to make sure that I'm comfortable in my old age. And then when I'm gone, at that point, you can then have a successful relationship. So that broken person attached herself to someone she felt had a strong attribute that she could grow from. But in all reality, his broken dimming light, little flickering light, attracted her flickering light. So now that broken person has sought out another broken person, and then they create a wonderful child out of love and Hennessy. And now we have another broken individual in the world because mommy and daddy got busy and didn't even think to work on any of their past issues. But go ahead, Sharon, because you know me, I can talk about this because it's trifling.
Yeah, he sat here and said that the baby was created out of love and Hennessy. I cannot with you.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. There's a lot of Hennessy fueled children out here. A lot of
Carl,
y'all.
you know what? I believe that that broken girl that you're talking about, and then the guy was able to seek her out. Um, I believe that from 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 the time we can walk, one or two, we
Hmm.
are taught how to nurture, right? So T.D. Jakes was given this little scenario where he was saying, you know, little girls are given baby dolls and they're taught how to nurture and take care of that baby. But the boys, they don't get anything like that. They're not wired like that, or we don't train them like that. And I
Hmm.
think because we are, I believe we're naturally born as nurturers, right? Because we can bear children, but also we are trained in that mindset as well. I believe the mindset comes, the whole struggle of, right? That's our culture. That's a thing in
Hmm.
our culture. Oh, I gotta have his back. I gotta be down for him. Yeah, I mean, I believe a lot of it stems from the trauma of slavery that we've passed on. We
Hmm.
have great grandma who, you know, didn't. She had multiple kids. I don't think they had Hennessy back in great grandma day, but she had multiple kids, right?
It was
And her dad
moonshine.
was.
It was moonshine.
And then we have grandma, right? And then we find out granddaddy got a whole other family over there that he take care of. Grandma ain't complaining. She's still fixing his dinner, still doing everything for him. She's still in the
Hmm.
house. She don't argue with him, and these things are implanted into our psyche. We believe that this is normal.
Hmm.
This is how a man is supposed to treat us, and we're still supposed to treat him. We're supposed to have his back and be there for him, and be that comfort for him, or whatever it is.
Hmm.
But this comes from generational of dysfunctional women passing
Hmm.
down dysfunctional behaviors. I know I'm going hard on the women tonight, y'all. I can go even harder, but that's just what I truly believe it is. And
Hmm.
then we have this perception of so then we end up with the broken guy, right? Because we're broken, so we end up with the
Hmm.
broken guy, and then we feel like we can nurture him, we can fix him, we can help him be better than what he is,
Hmm.
when really he don't know how to be better. You got his best. That's it. That's it.
I,
You may
I
see a
love
little
that.
potential in him, right? You may see that he's a talented artist. If he just, work on his art, and, you know, learn how to sell his work and have some passion about it and create some things, he'll be able to be an amazing artist. But you know
Hmm.
what? He has to have the drive to want to do that. He
Hmm.
has to know how to use his own talents. So we want everything in the world for our men. We do. But that's us trying to fix it. And we need to stop trying to fix somebody that can't be fixed, A,
Hmm.
and who needs to fix himself. That is not our job. We've been trained to believe that's our job. Oh, I'm supposed to go in. Oh, I'm just going to support him. I'm going to help him with his business. I'm going to help him promote, or whatever I'm going to do. And 5 years later, he ain't no further than he was before he met you, even
Yep.
with all of your help. So here you are, burnt out, tired, and drained. And he's still where he is because the self development needed to come from within
Hmm.
himself. So man,
I love
I don't
that.
know. I don't know how to help y'all learn how to be men. And for that reason, ladies, we need to stay in our lanes. It's not our job.
That part.
And we
So,
should not feel shame. We should not feel shame or be shamed for
hmm,
it either.
I agree. So
But we are.
Naisha, Naisha said, many of the women do not have a blueprint to say, don't do or watch out for. We try to recognize or excuse me, we try to fix when we do not know how to truly recognize the broken. And Naisha, I think that was beautifully said. And I really feel like there's there's really not a blueprint on how to be a productive man, how to be a productive woman. It's trial and errors. However, and I am not a nurturing person. Like, I'm a good friend. I'm very loving when I need to be, but do I have the same attributes that my wife has? No. I don't even have a fifth of the patience that she has because after two times of me repeating myself, I'm now annoyed. Um, but then again, my wife doesn't have certain attributes that I have. And I'm telling y'all, as a father, and me, holding down the household while my wife is doing what she needs to do, to all the single mothers out there that's genuinely trying to raise a king and create and provide a blueprint for the queens coming up, I tip my hat to you. For the ratchet ones out there, y'all need to do better. And you probably need your ass whooped if we just being 100% honest. Somebody needs to stop the cycle. And if you get slapped once, maybe it'll help break that generational curse. But I don't promote violence or condone it. But some of y'all just need that emotional shock to get you back on track. Um, but I really feel like, what, ladies and gentlemen watching, let me ask you this. When you see a man do you, and the potential that you see in that individual, are you able to classify it as potential for a season or potential as a reason? That's my question to y'all.
That is a good question.
Share,
And
answer that.
well, let me back up for a second because when you were saying there's no blueprint on how to be a good woman or a good man, I believe that's just for our culture. Because in
Hmm.
other cultures, they do. Mothers teach their daughters how to look for a quality man. They
Hmm.
have arranged marriages in some cultures for a very specific reason because you're young and you don't really understand how to navigate the dating
Hmm.
world. So they have the arranged marriages for that reason, and also to put families and financial things as well. But in other, I think it's just our culture. We
Hmm.
don't teach our daughters. My mother, first of all, my dad was her only boyfriend. She had no experience. She had nothing to really teach me about the dating game because she was never in it. I had
Hmm.
to navigate this world on my own. But I have enough experience now to where my daughter, she will know exactly um, what's going on. I had to depend on my brothers. Now my brothers call themselves teaching me the game, but what they did was they made me so mean, and they
Hmm.
taught me exactly what to expect from guys that are trying to get over on me. Um, to where ain't nobody want to approach me. So from a brother standpoint, they did their job as brothers protecting me, but it
Hmm.
didn't help me as a woman out here in the whole Myrtle Beach right now in these streets, having a
Gotcha.
good time. So that's what I wanted to say on that part.
And I like how you said that only because the one thing that I've noticed in this culture, we're talking about you can't raise a man, but the one thing that I understand to be wholeheartedly is we're teaching our kids to survive, not to prosper, not to have generational wealth. So if we're just teaching them the bare minimum to cook a meal, to clean, to wash your clothes, wash your behind. Because you'd be surprised how many musty and dusty 40-year-old and 30-year-old women and men that I've come across. And your
Can we say
secret,
that is true? Can we say that is true?
man, I'm like, what? How is your hair dry? And you said, hey, bro, I'm about to run into the shower real quick and then we can go. And you sit in my vehicle smelling like 40 pack mules in a day trade. Like, okay, uh, you got to get up out of my vehicle. This isn't okay. So, I just want to know again if anybody would like to answer just to get clarification. When you see a potential in a male, are you seeing the potential as a reason or are you seeing that potential as a season?
I have a question. So this is to help clarify it. Are you speaking to the broken woman or the
Yes.
woman? Okay, so for the broken woman, we don't know the difference. Okay,
Hmm.
we don't know the difference between a season and a reason. We just
Hmm.
see a guy. First of all, we see him, right? Oh,
Hmm.
he's cute. And then smart girl like thugs, right? We do. We like them rough. We like a guy with a little edge and confidence.
Hmm.
And that guy is typically in the streets, right? Okay, so oh, he cute. Oh, girl, he is a thug. Okay. Um, he can handle me, because that's what we all want, right?
Hmm.
And then we create this whole picture of how we can have this Bonnie and Clyde, Beyonce and Jay-Z type life, right? So now we into the media, what media is feeding us.
Hmm.
Um, and then just this whole hood love thing. That's what we're falling into. Oh, girl, I'm going to ride with him. He got my back. So it's not that we're even looking at anybody as far as for a reason or a season. I think we just generally get together with someone and try to have that struggle with them.
Okay.
I don't think the broken woman, she doesn't look into it that deep.
Okay, so then let's ask another question. Ladies, why do y'all put up with ain't shit ass dudes? And this, I don't know if anybody can remember this, but y'all remember that show, But I Love Him. Every time I hear that, that's what I hear in my head. But I
What was
love
what?
him.
There was something on some show where the girl was like, "But I love him." I
Yeah,
don't know what it is.
I can't figure it out. But yeah, if anybody would like to comment, because for me, I feel like females put up with ain't shit ass individuals because there's daddy issues. We know there is some daddy issues.
That's
Um,
true.
we know that there's insecurity. There's low self esteem.
Put that up. Cause that's the real answer right there. I ain't even gonna lie. That's the real answer. Cause when he put it down, we can look. He can. It's okay. Oh, you came in at 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, it's okay. Cause when you came in at 3, you handled it. Right. I went right on back to sleep. I
And I
forgot all
was
about
waiting.
it.
I was waiting for somebody to put that there because that is the true definition of dignitized. Y'all, I have seen women walking in the rain, the snow, have given up their last of their rent for this man, all because of his pipe work.
Who said
I just,
you?
I don't get it. And then this individual stated, because when you are broken, we think there is no one else that will want you, or yeah, they
That's
don't
true.
want you, and it's so sad. But I really feel like with that comes from home. That comes from your mama not validating you as being beautiful. That
That
your
comes from your
mama,
daddy. It comes from you not having your dad to tell you these things. And
yeah,
when a man finally says that to you, oh my gosh, you lose your mind. You never heard it before.
so it starts from home. I really feel like when it comes to girls, when daddy tells you you're beautiful or you're special, that creates the first pillar of your self esteem. But when you hear your mother say it, because I know a lot of women out here whose mamas have told them, I love you about 5 times and they in their 30s, and they can count each time that they've been told, I love you by their mom. So
Hmm.
there's a balance that's needed, and it's not fair to put it all on one individual. But a
That's true.
lot of
Yeah.
ladies, y'all be out here accepting these F boys, and I don't care how good the Cuda Cat is. She could have the Thundercat Aquafina edition. I'm not. I'm not. I may do some crazy things that I said I wouldn't have done, because I'm older now. So I mean, I'm pulled something and I can't
You
walk
better.
like two
Yeah.
weeks ago.
You got to slow
But
down.
yeah, people, I don't get how you get, p whipped and dignitized. It's beyond me. I don't get it. Sharon,
But
what do you
it's
think?
I think it's very easy in your 20s and maybe early 30s because you lack knowledge, you lack understanding. This is something new and it feels good. It's fun, right?
Mhm.
And we have the pleasure centers in our brain are being fed. That's pretty much all you're thinking about in your 20s, right? I can be
Mhm.
honest about that. Now, when you're 40 and still acting like that, it's not. We need to talk. We need to talk. I'm gonna
That
need you to
part.
get it together. Yeah.
That all of that part. Um,
Hmm.
so then, Sharon, let's talk about the mental health aspect. We touched on it a little bit,
Hmm.
as far as the generational trauma. Granddaddy accepted, or grandmama accepting granddaddy with his family on the side, and now we're believed that we're supposed to be putting that trauma or endured that trauma. Do you feel like that's more often than not within our culture specifically? Because we talked about it before where we live off of our grandparents' testimonies. Do you feel like this specific mental health issue surrounding the acceptance of broken stems from generational?
I do, and I believe that because there's always been like a shortage of men in the black community. If we think about it, right? Because
Mhm.
that's from slavery, and then we have the men who can afford. I will give the old grandpas back then. If they had another family on the side, they took care of that family. They actually provided for that family, to where neither family went without. Putting all that aside, it still wasn't right. You should have been able to commit to one person. But I do believe that, the anxiety of not having someone, because women really didn't work back then, right?
Mhm.
So they weren't able to be the breadwinners or to bring in the money into the house to take care of themselves. So you tend to put up with things that you typically would not want to put up with when you're in a situation where you need or you are depending on that man.
Hmm.
I mean, I really don't believe none of them grandmas really wanted this other woman that she saw in the grocery store or in the market to be sharing her husband. I don't believe that at all, but they allowed it, and it happens so often, more
Hmm.
often than not in our community specifically, in our culture. And I think it's just, and it's passed down. I believe there's a level of depression
Hmm.
that is happening. So we have these things that are, we have the anxiety from, well, I need, I don't have anybody else to take care of me. And then
Hmm.
we have the depression that falls behind that too. He ain't treating me right. He's probably beating on it and coming home drunk. All of these
That
things
part.
that they had to deal with. I do believe a lot of it stemmed from the lack of financial security on their own. Um, but yeah,
So
it's
let's
just
talk
kind of
about
what
these.
is what it is, or was
Let's
what it
talk about these
was.
man child, Sharon. And I'm gonna be honest because we're talking about the fellas with these issues. But let's
Mm-hmm.
let's 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 really dive into it. These man children are throwing big ass tantrums
Mm.
when they can't get their way. And one thing I do know is when we say you can't raise a man is going to accept his responsibilities, right or wrong, good or bad, indifferent or just. We're going to accept our responsibilities. But these man children throw tantrums, and so do the ladies. Let's be honest, ladies. A lot of y'all use children as a bargaining chip, which then perpetuates this man child tantrum that's going on. But Sharon, what do you think that is when it comes to these grown ass little boys? Do you think let's talk about the emotional, because I see that you're not emotionally developed, because there's a hierarchy of needs, there's
Mm-hmm.
the developmental stages that you're supposed to reach. Do you think that those developmental stages are stifled when they are in a single parent home? Naisha, I want your opinion too, therapist. Do you,
Uh,
because you're a therapist just like us, but
I do, because it's like he never gets a chance to really grow up, right? There's
hmm,
always a nurturer around to take care of him. So it starts off with mom, right? And then he goes and get the girlfriend early, of course, probably has a baby early, and then
hmm,
baby mama. He's living with her in her housing.
hmm.
So now she's taking care of him. Of course, he's going to step out, and now he got another baby mama. It's just women that are lined up to continually take care of these grown behind men to where they never get a chance to actually grow up and be on their own.
Okay. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa said, but females and partners encourage it too. I agree.
That's true.
Definitely agree. Tiffany says, there definitely has to be a balance in the relationships. You can't change someone who doesn't want to be changed. Okay, so let's stop there. You can't change someone who doesn't want to be changed. But if I see the potential in you, am I wanting to change you or am I trying to encourage you? Sharon, how do you feel some of these ladies answer that question? I can't, you muted it.
My bad. If I see the potential in a man, then it just depends on who he is. And it depends on your age. Like,
Hmm.
if you 40, I'm gonna say, I, I'm gonna say 40 up. If you 40 up, and I'm still looking for your potential, you don't even know what it is. Okay.
Hmm.
If you can't figure it out, it ain't my job to help you with that. I can't figure it out either.
Hmm.
Prior to that, you may be still trying to find yourself, trying different things. Where I
At
could
40?
possibly, prior to 40,
Oh.
prior to that,
So I say
prior
at
to
40, you
40,
close to the grave.
yeah, I know you need to have it together by 40. Prior
Yeah,
to then you may be trying some different things, especially in your 20s, early 30s. But at some point, you need to figure it out.
I agree.
Figure out who you are. But when you don't have a role model, you don't have anyone to help develop your character or shape who you are, because we all are shaped in some way,
Hmm.
um, or not. You don't have anybody to help shape you in a positive way. Then what do? Like, you're at a disadvantage. I almost feel sorry for this guy. I
Mm-hmm.
do. And I think a lot of women, we do feel sorry for this guy. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's just damaged because of his circumstances.
Okay,
But
hold on,
again,
pause.
ladies, that's not our problem.
Pause. Yes. I personally, as a PSA announcement, ladies, I don't care if this thing has the royal penis of all penises. I don't care if you see potential in every corner and facet. We have to come to the realization, and I'm here to be a leader to help you, ladies. There's just some stupid people in the world. There are some people you just cannot help. And after two or three, five or six, 12 or 20 arguments, and they're stuck in their ways at 30, 20, at some point, now you're a dumbass for staying in the relationship. If you knew you couldn't change him 60 days into the relationship, and here we are 6 years, 4 kids later, and now you want to sit here and place the blame, at some point, you have to take the blame for yourself. Uh, Let me see. Tiffany then stated, um, they only end up resenting you and will also lead to other issues within the relationship. However, I feel like you can identify if a man has ambitions. Ambitions of a writer. Tupac did a whole song. Y'all need to, if you don't know it, this is ambitions of a writer. I'm just, hey, we have ambition, some of us, and y'all, sometimes it takes a good woman to provide that blueprint for a man to know their self-worth. However, comma, and for a man to reach that moment of clarity is because he lost a real one at some point in his life.
And can I add something? Tupac also wrote that in his 20s. Okay? That ambition needs to develop at some point.
At some point, not 40. That's not okay. You can, and if he's talking about being a millionaire and he's 37.
Y'all, look, no one is innocent here. I believe we have all fallen for the 40-year-old gospel rapper, right? We have done it. You know, we saw the potential in him, and he was, hustling, he was going after it, sold out for the Lord and everything. And, you just can't get right. That's the can't get right dude.
Hmm.
I want to add him to this list. He has a lot of potential, right? He has
Hmm.
ambition and he has drive. But somewhere that circle never connects. It's kind of like that Jerry curl that don't. Remember, Cedric was like, it just don't
It
can't
starts and
can't
then stops. Yeah.
that can't get right. It's just like that Jerry curl that don't quite curl. He has a
Hmm.
lot of goals and ambition. He talks a big game. He says all of these wonderful things, and basically he's just talking outside of his neck. He's taught no action at all. There's no action behind it. The little action that he does, because he got to keep giving you something that feeds you and to keep you hanging on, isn't
Hmm.
worth anything. I mean, it's less than mediocre.
That's true. So hold on, let me finish because Tiff, she wrote a lot here, and I definitely appreciate it. You can't change someone who doesn't want to be changed. They will only end up resenting you and will also lead to other issues within the relationship. However, I feel like you can identify if a man has ambition and potential to be great and wants to change for the better. When I met my husband, we were both on two different spectrums in life. He was young and hadn't established himself, whereas I was older and knew what I wanted and was very independent. I didn't have to fix him. We communicated what we wanted and worked together, worked to, excuse me, and worked towards it together. Encourage definitely. Thank you, Tiff. I definitely agree with that. Lisa said, Google says a man does not actually fully mature until 43. So then what? So,
You see my lips? Please. I don't care what Google says. 43, you should already have it together by then.
yeah,
Well on your way by 43. If you are still a little man child at 43, then this nothing we can talk about. You have no career. You have nothing of your own. Nothing that you've worked for and have achieved by 43. Come on. It don't
I'm,
make it that hard out here for us. I don't know who wrote that lie. That's a Google lie.
so look, I'm gonna say this to the ladies listening, and this is coming from someone who just all I wanted to do in life was work. I just wanted money. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't have dreams of being a therapist, and look at me now. I didn't have dreams of having a degree in criminal justice. Look at me now. I didn't have a dream of living in a home. Excuse me, buying. Now, this is our second home. That I was cool with living in an apartment because I would always have a neighbor I can go chill with. It wasn't until I was 27 years old that I was like, you know what? I'm about tired of people telling me what to do and how to do it when I know because of my own lived experience that what you're doing for this client or patient isn't right. So I want to challenge Google. It's when you're 27 that you begin to learn your worth and your ambitions, everything that you may have thought about in the past, one is going to stick out to you the most. I've done, graphic designs, calligraphy. There was a lot of stuff I did before I settled as a LCSWA until January, then I'll be fully. But it
Amen.
wasn't until then. So I think it's 27 is when you really begin to focus on something. What you think, Sharon?
I totally agree. And the struggle love is okay in your 20s, right? That's when you're
Hmm.
working towards something together. So your wife had your back, right? She helped push you
Hmm.
towards achieving that potential that she saw in you. 43 is
Yes, you
just too
did.
late for that. I'm sorry. Let's get into these comments and wrap this baby up.
All right. So Tiff then said, I'm not going to make the decision for you, but I will encourage and support you while you find your way. Amen. Amen. Vanessa said, yes, I could agree more. Single parent homes can create some of the strongest people and sometimes some of the most damaging people. Definitely agree with that. Our residential therapist said, social learning theory supports the nothing. Wait. Social learning theory supports the nothing that, yes, it does impact development, but cognitively, yes, as it relates to trauma and just appropriate developmental needs not being met.
Yeah, supports the notion. Absolutely.
See,
And
that's what I thought.
Vanessa, I love, look, Vanessa, I love everything that you just said in that one single word, immaturity. Oh, we tapped at the same time.
You did.
Immaturity, because that's what it boils down to. She's so right. One word,
Immaturity.
immaturity. Grow up.
And who do we have to blame for that? That
Rag,
immaturity.
raggedy mama, but I ain't gonna go there.
Uh-huh. And then Lisa said, wait, Vera Wang didn't actually create her first real dress that sold until she was 40.
Can
And
I?
we gonna talk about y'all females, because y'all
Well, wait a
something else
minute.
when you hit 40.
Hold on. Their last name is Wayne. Okay. I don't know if she was living in a rice paddy prior to 40. I don't know if she was living in low income housing. I don't know anything about her family.
Uh-huh.
Um, but some kind of way she supported herself until the age of 40. How did she do that?
Mhm.
Was she
Oh.
was she poor, dirt poor, living in because that's what we're talking about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, I think Vera Wang, she struggled for a minute, if I remember the documentary, but I don't know.
Well,
I'm
she
bad
had
at
a
history.
dream. She had a
Yeah, she
dream.
had a dream, just like Martin, but she
Amen.
didn't die. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Uh, so let's talk about the last few parts. We have the cultural desensitization. In our culture, we have become more complacent and comfortable with our environment. Fear of being outside of our comfort zone causes us to act irrational or stunts our maturity level. Like Vanessa said, successful growth. What you
Yeah,
think?
I completely agree. And we kind of touched on that earlier. Like, I mean, if you never go outside of of your current environment, then you don't know how big the world truly is. You don't know how many opportunities there are out there for you.
Hmm.
It does stunt your growth, and you don't have that opportunity to grow up and develop and flourish because you don't even know what's out there.
Definitely agree. So here's the portion, y'all. We finally about to be wrapping up kind of on time today. Praise the Lord, because my braids are tight and I'm ready to lay down. Um, but professional advice. I just want to be 100% with y'all. Ladies, you have to stop going into relationships like you're in a Build a Bear workshop. This is not build a brother, build the homie lover friend. We can't do that. When you go into a relationship feeling that you can fix something, 9 out of 10 times, you're going to be even worse off than where you were when you started that relationship. If I want to take intelligence and I want to do this, and he needs to have that, and he needs to be able to put it down, you're focused on everything that you want in a man, but what are you bringing to the table yourself? You have daddy issues, insecurity, self esteem. You're in a generational cycle that's been passed down from your great great grands. All of this stuff, you're focusing so much on what you want in a man that you're negating what you need for yourself. It is okay to be alone. It's okay. I'm not saying be alone for 70 years,
That part.
but damn, work on you. Get you together because you are providing a blueprint on how a real mother lover like me is going to treat you, be it in the workplace, be it as your neighbor, be it in a relationship. If you're broken and damaged and there is someone that is preying on broken and insecure women, because let's be honest, these man children, they're preying on that fat girl, that skinny girl with a big old forehead, whatever the case is. They're preying on individuals so that they can get their needs met, be it short term or long term. Ava said, uh, let me see, there we go. Learn your worth, know your worth, execute your worth. That part. You can have a hot girl summer. You can you can do it all. You can have a hot girl summer. You can live the life, be out here clubbing, partying, do you. But if you gonna be a hoe, be a diligent hoe. Don't half-ass the hoe them. Know you. Know
You so
what you're
good.
doing. Do better. Don't just like dwell and hold them. But we all have those moments. Most of y'all have those moments. I did not. I'm not built to be a hoe. It's just not in me. I'm personally terrified of the itchy tachis. I can't mess with it. Uh, I'm a one
Look,
woman man. Um, I just can't do it. Thank you, Naisha. Shouting out
look,
because it's true. You gotta know you. It's okay to be alone. There are too many products that have been made during COVID-19 that you can find self love.
they were already around and they've been out for many years. Look,
Okay, they've been around.
I joke about being out in these streets, but I'm scared of the itchy tachi too. I just be out looking, just like this.
Let me just
just
peek one
just
time
looking, just looking.
because it's
But
real. The struggle is real. So
yeah,
Sharon,
but
talk
you
to the sisters. Talk to them.
well, Carl, you made a good point. We have to be comfortable with who we are. First of all, you made a good point. There's a lot of work. Like I have things that I want my next husband to have. And I feel like I've earned that list. We'll call it a list. I feel like I earned the right to getting everything on that list because I've done the self improvement, I've done the self development. I have a lot to bring to the table. So I believe I have earned the right to get everything on my list. That is something I believe you have to earn. If you have not done anything and you so raggedy out in these streets, being ratchet, doing whatever,
Hmm.
that may get you the itchy touch. You have not earned the right to have a list. You haven't. You should not have these high expectations that you have. You will probably continue to get what you currently getting because you haven't taken the time to develop and improve yourself. So I think you made a good point there. Sister
Hmm.
to sister, ladies, we need to be comfortable and confident with who we are. We need to work on ourselves. Carl, you hit it on the head. We can't be afraid to be alone. Um, being single, being single. you are, how do I want to say this? Because sometimes you do feel lonely, right?
Hmm.
Because you don't have that partner, you don't have somebody there all the time. But you're never alone. There's people always around you, and
Hmm.
there's plenty of stuff that you can do where you can be a busy, productive person, right? So that you're not just constantly thinking about it. You got to be comfortable with who you are. Knowing your self worth is the most important part. You got to know
Hmm.
your worth. When you do not know your worth, you will fall for anything. You will accept anything because your value is low or
Hmm.
non-existent. So you're only going to expect somebody to match what you given, which is undervalued and low. I mean,
Hmm.
who wants any of that? I don't. So, ladies, know your self worth. Do some growth and development. Earn your list.
That part. And just so we could wrap it up, because this was a deep conversation, ladies, if no one ever told you the most sexiest thing about a woman, aside from her attributes, if she got the big old tig old bitties and the big old booty and what's in between the legs, those are attributes. That's not what makes a wife. The sexiest thing about a woman is her confidence in herself as a woman. Because see, there's a difference between a woman and a little girl. A little girl is gonna throw a tantrum and be treated and spoiled. That's a little girl. All little girls are spoiled. Daddy gives them a little treat and then they behave. But a real woman, is gonna tell you you're wrong. I love you. You still that was stupid as hell. I'ma support you, but don't do that shit again. That's a woman. A
You
woman is
have
gonna
boundaries.
protect you.
Hmm.
Yes, a woman has boundaries not only for herself, but for the relationship that she wants to see prosper. There's nothing sexier in this world than a woman with confidence who is not going to back down and be old, frail, and fragile. I want to put y'all up on game. If you ain't got an older brother, your uncle, your daddy, none of them ever told you from a real one, since day one, there is nothing sexier about a woman who is confident and knows who she is.
Absolutely. Self wealth. Self wealth.
Self love,
Self
self love,
worth. Understanding your worth. Absolutely.
understanding it.
All right, Carl. We did it
All right,
again.
well, we out. We did it. We made it.
What's up for next week?
Next week, we are talking about the ladies. We are ladies, we're coming for you. And by ladies, I mean the tired baby mamas with the excuses, the gold digging hoes. This is the improvement series, and black people, we need to do better. If you are driving a 1998 Toyota Corolla and your weave costs as much as my mortgage do, your priorities are not straight
All messed
at all.
up. All messed up.
All the way. If your eyelashes are blinking simultaneously because it's still alive, there's the problem.
Not the eyelashes. You went in on the eyelashes
Girl,
two
I
episodes
am.
ago.
We talking about Build a Bear man. I am
Yeah.
tired of these old Barbie artificial plastic enhanced females.
Okay, we're gonna get on
Where's
them
the
next
truth?
week.
Oh,
We
we going in.
y'all
We going in.
ladies look. I went in on y'all a little bit tonight, but it was intentional and purposeful, and I had to. Sorry. But next week
Sorry, not sorry.
I'm gonna let Carl out the cage. I'm gonna let him out the cage, and it's just gonna be what it is. I apologize now for not stopping him because it needs to be said. So, all right, co-host.
All right. Well, Sharon, take us out, girl.
All right. Well, thank you all for a wonderful evening. Carl, I cannot get to my screen again to do our outro. You'll
I don't
have to
even
hit
know
it.
how to do it.
It's
All right.
under
Well, y'all tune
green
in next week, the same black channel, the same
and
black
black
host at the
time.
same black time. And we will catch y'all next week. Toodaloo.
Good night.